win with CB, I continue my way for the belt. Sure, I want to have a couple victories for fight for the title. And for this, I must to win save the way in a good, make very good, not to be boring. This is why I will to do Saturday night.
Have you listened to any criticism about you mentioned boring? Is that some feedback to what fans or media have been saying about your performances, that you were trying to be more exciting in the octagon?
A couple of times you make a game plan for fight some guy, a guy like Philippe is a dangerous striker. You can make gambling on a chance with him and take a knockout. You see the last fight he made with Lawrence Larkin. It's gambling. One not finish the fight. I don't want to be in this game gambling. I want to secure my victory, but it's sure for the fight you must be exciting. And before my fight with Jacare, I changed a little bit my training on to be more explosive and more exciting.
Last question, please.
Do you think maybe people are overlooking you, because with George St. Pierre here, a lot of people were swarming over him looking for a couple of questions of him. Not a big crowd here. Is that good for you? You're flying under the radar and getting through fight week hassle-free.
I'm very happy to have George with me. It's a big opportunity. He makes a long way for being here. He have a surgery to the knee. He come back. He come to Los Angeles. It's a very long way for me. It's a big opportunity for my friend and a good coach to coach me for this fight. And that's it. I'm happy he be here.
What about Faraz? Is Faraz going to be here for your fight?
Not Faraz not be here Saturday night, but he learned me a lot about this fight, and I know what I must do for win the fight.
What have you changed specifically for this fight compared to Jacare?
I don't change nothing special, but I try a new move, a new move for the fight, new technique, and I know what I must do for winning this fight with CB Dalloway.
Thank you.
How did it go the way you wanted? You went on the international scene, you picked up a lot of wins. What's different about you now?
The most difference is I became a professional fighter. On my first UFC run, I still went to school. I had to do 9 months military during that time. And after I lost the contract with the UFC, I became a professional fighter. And since then, it was all I did. I just trained every day. I fought, and that's all I did. I had nothing else to do. And I think I developed as a fighter, as a personality, and everything is much better now. I'm older, I have more experience, and I want to show it on Saturday in Berlin.
You've been on a real submission streak as of late also. 5 first-round rear naked chokes. Is that something special that you've been working on, or how has that happened?
My style was always grappling. I started with judo, so I feel really comfortable when I grab my opponent, and it just turned out that way. Of course, I also train striking and everything else, but I have good attacks to take the back. Nobody could defend it, and so I was able to pull out 5 wins by rear naked choke in the last 3 years. That's one of my best techniques, and I think I might do it on Saturday again.
What did you have to give up to become a professional full-time fighter?
Sorry?
What did you have to give up to become a professional full-time fighter?
For me, it's not giving something up. It's a much better life that I have now. Before that, I had to work and to make a living. Now I have my own gym. I built up my own gym, and I can make a living with MMA, and it's awesome. I cannot complain. It's a dream for me, and being back in the UFC is a dream coming true. So I'm here to stay.
Saturday. What were your initial thoughts hearing the matchup? What do you think of him as an opponent for you?
My opponent Pavlak is a tough guy. He's unbeaten, and I think he will be very confident in this fight. But also, he hasn't faced a fighter like me. He won most of his fights on the ground, but I don't think he wants to go on the ground with me. So I think he will have a complete different strategy for this fight, and I'm wondering what will happen, what will be his tactic. But I will go forward, aggressive, and try to win the fight by submission very early. So I'm not planning to win by points.
You told me this morning that you might be at a disadvantage because you haven't fought since November 2012.
Yes.
And he has obviously fought 5 times in 2013. So do you think cage rust will play a factor in this fight for you?
I don't think so. I also made the experience to be out of the fight for more than a year. So it's my second time that I had to take a longer break, and I didn't feel a disadvantage. Last time I did it, I was training all the time. I had fresh sparring partners each week, so I feel good. I had hard sparring sessions, and I don't think ring rust will be a problem in this fight.
What's changed in Germany since the last time the UFC was here?
You know, a lot of things changed. We have much more fighters now. We have better fighters now, better coaches, better teams. Everything developed. Plus, the acceptance of the sport in the media is much better now. It's not perfect, but it's getting better. Like 5 years ago, when the UFC came the first time, it was like the gladiators are coming, but now it's 50-50. I would say we have 50% good reports and 50% bad reports, so it's a little bit better, but still we have to do a lot of work in Germany to educate the people.
So what about the UFC? How has the UFC changed since you last fought with them 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, the UFC became much bigger. You know, when I was in the UFC the first time, they had maybe 250 fighters. Now it's I think about 500. They make much more shows. They have more fighters from Europe as well. So everything became bigger, faster, and also better, in my opinion.
So why were you off for a year? Why the layoff?
I had a surgery on my stomach here. I was in Brazil and I got a bacterial infection inside my stomach, so they had to cut out parts of my guts. I was 1 month in hospital, and I almost died, but I made it out, and after 6 months of rehab I could start sparring again, and now I'm 100%, so I'm coming from a really hard time, but I think that will give me more power for the fight, because, you know, I faced the death, and I think no opponent in the cage is tougher than what I experienced in Brazil.
Were you just training down there? Or?
Yes, I was training there.
Okay. Staph infection?
No, it's a bacteria called actinomycosis. It's very, very rarely. 1 of 40 million people gets it, so it's something really strange. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Do you feel like you have an advantage over Carla on Saturday because you've been through this all before and it's his UFC debut, or does that give you a little bit more pressure because you have more to prove?
No, that doesn't give me more pressure. I think I have the advantage because I have more experience, like on the big stage. He's unbeaten, but he hasn't fought like that high caliber fighters. I faced much more tough guys than him. So, but also you can only say how good he is when he faces good guys. He did really good. He won all of his fights by TKO or submission, and I think the experience is on my side, and I plan to put the pressure on him in the first round so that he has no time to get comfortable in the UFC cage.
When did that happen?
Police officer?
Yes.
Actor?
Yes.
UFC fighter?
Yes.
How do you do all three?
Time by time. So usually, I mean now in the last weeks the focus was definitely on the UFC, on fighting, on training. So I mean my job, till now my main job has been the police, but they gave me the time to prepare decently, and it was really a good time. And you know, the acting for me is not really difficult. You know, it's not that I never attended acting school, or when I read the script, it wasn't really for the show I'm doing. It wasn't really that I had to learn it. It's really easy for me to because the role I'm playing in this show is really like how you tailor-made for me. So I just have to enjoy myself in front of the camera, as I'm doing also now when we are having the interviews and stuff.
Can you take elements of being an actor and also elements of being a police officer into your role as an MMA fighter?
Definitely. I remember one of the first scenes we did for the show was I had to be really serious. I don't know if anyone is knows what's the show about, but we're like 3 brothers, and we're stupid, and we don't know anything about our job, and we are always arguing, and I had to get really close to my opponent. That was like the face-off after the weigh-ins, so I was really imagining how would I behave after the weigh-in, and of course the same with the police, but it's too much fun to really compare the acting and the police, especially for this show. Yes.
You're making your UFC debut on Saturday. What has your journey been so far to get you to this point?
Yeah, a long, hard and really. Yes, difficult journey, but in the end it worked out, and now I'm really enjoying the time here. You know, everyone is so nice. It's really professional. You know, people are really treating us really good. So yeah, when you are, as I'm finally now here, it's joyful. It's great.
And what do you think of your opponent, Dover?
Strong, tough opponent. It will be a strong and tough match, and the fans are going to profit out of that because I know he's hungry. I'm definitely hungry, and we are not going to take we're going to go straight for it. So it's going to be a tough and a good match.
Do you have a game plan going into the fight on Saturday?
Yeah, my game plan is no game plan. So I really try not to follow a certain line. I just want to, go with the flow.
Saying that, are you extremely confident in your all-round game as a mixed martial artist?
He or me? Yes. I really feel confident because last week's the training was really good. You know, it really worked out. I had no major injuries. I didn't really had to take a break. It worked so good. It's like as if the path was already prepared for me, so it went so smooth. So I'm really confident out of that.
And how strong is the mixed martial arts scene in Germany at the moment?
At the moment, we are really developing. I mean, we have 4 or 5 guys in the UFC right now, and we have never been on that high standard. Of course, we are still following, for example, to the States. It's still far away, but it's like as I said in an interview before, don't underestimate the crazy Germans. We are going to try as hard as we can, and we're definitely here with our hearts.
Okay, that's it, guys, for the moment. There will be
a right leg kick a lot in that open workout. I know you're a man that likes predicting that he's going to end fights, so is that what it's going to be on Saturday?
Well, I think that's what ended the last fight, my left head kick of Mats Nilsson. It's definitely a technique I'm looking to land. To be honest, this one's going to be a bit hard to predict, but I still think it's straight right hand. I think he leaps into it probably early in the second round. I feel like after he's frustrated in the first, he's going to come after me pretty hard, and my right hand's my weapon, and I think he's going to land right on him.
Can you just talk about the car accident that we had a couple of weeks ago? I know you've been asked about it a lot, but how has it affected your training camp, and are you 100% going into this fight?
I'm definitely 100%. There's no doubt. Physically, I'm 100%. Mentally, I'm 100%. There's no problems there. The only thing it affected, and of course it affected the camp, I had about 3 or 4 days off training, which in hindsight was probably a good thing. I had a bit of a rest. But I brought in a specialist from the States, over from Boston, a guy named Jimmy Quinlan, who is a formidable wrestling coach, fantastic on the ground. He's a black belt there too, and a great MMA fighter. I've trained with him a lot. We have a good relationship. So I brought him in especially to help me with this camp, and he was too injured to train over the last couple of weeks. So he's still been there coaching me, but I haven't been able to be hands-on with a body that I paid to be over in the country, and it cost me a lot of money to have him there. So it was a big resource to me that I lost. But I still had all my other training partners at Tsunami. I still had the normal camp, and there was no real problems. Just 4 days off, and I was a bit shocked. And I lost my car, so I wrote it off. I got to buy a car after Germany, so hopefully 50 grand will help me with that.
One of the things that's changed from the fight going to London is that you're now managing yourself. Is that correct?
Sort of, yeah. I'm my management company that I was with. He's moved away from mixed martial arts for the moment, so I've now got an agent in the UK who I'm talking to. And right now for this fight, it's a self-managed fight. Moving forward, I may just have an agent. I might manage myself. I don't know right now. It's something I'm doing, but yeah, you're right. This fight I've managed myself for, and everything's the same.
Do you feel that's a lot on your plate to be focused on the fight, but also your schedule?
No, not really. I've got great guys around me that take a lot of the stress away from me, and like I said, the agent I work with, he handled a lot of the stuff for me for this fight as well. So things like getting your shorts done, your band, all that sort of stuff. He was on top of it, and sponsorship. So I got a great relationship with him, and it's definitely going to build. Management is different. I think managing yourself within your fighting career and what you want to happen, there needs to be a big element of trust there for when you're going to choose who you're going to fight next, where you want to fight, the direction you want your career to go in. And I'm
very focused on that, and I know what I want. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Sponsorship, all that other sort of stuff, that's why I have an agent. He does all that for me. My career, you know, at the end of the day, I'm in control. But if I have bring another guy in to help me with that, don't know yet.
You've been very vocal lately, more than usual. Is that anything down to your mentor, Chael Sonnen?
I mean, everyone brings this up that, you know, I'm very vocal, I talk a lot, and I was on the Ultimate Fighter and Chael was my coach, but I was vocal before the Ultimate Fighter, you just didn't get to see it. I've always spoke my mind, I've always been very opinionated, and I have no qualms with saying what I think. And that's all it is, I just say what I think. There's no made up material, I'm not thinking, I just say how I feel, what I think, how I see the situation in my head, because I say it. And that's always been the same. So Chael's given me some advice with a few things, no doubt, and being around that guy, he's a charismatic dude, so you pick up a few things, but it's always been me, it always is me. And if you look pre-UFC, pre the Ultimate Fighter, you know, I think it was my second, third or fourth fight, I can't remember, you look at the interviews I did for that fight, and I was pretty damn vocal then.
We spoke to Sean Strickland earlier on, and we asked him about your height, about your range, and he didn't seem fazed by it at all. He said that he's got sparring partners and people he's been training with for years that mimic your height and range. What do you make of that?
Everyone's got sparring partners. Everyone's got. I brought in this tall sparring partner, all the rest. My boxing coach said it best, and I'm going to quote him. When you look at me, I'm tall. Of course, he's worried about the range. It's the only thing to worry about. I'm 6'6" underweight. There's not many of them around that can wrestle, do jiu-jitsu, and he's probably worked with some Thai boxers. I'm not a Thai boxer. I'm an MMA fighter. My boxing coach put it best. He said, they think they can handle it. They imagine they can handle it. They see you on weigh-in day. You look frail, weak. You step into the octagon on fight day. The first punch you land on them, he said, the world falls out of their arse. They can't handle it. They don't know what they're up against, and they really, you'll see it. You'll see his face change. As soon as the first time I hit him, they don't realise the power I can generate from such a lean body type. When I hit people, it hurts. You've seen that in my last couple of fights. I dropped Andrew Quake twice with relatively small shots. And then Mats Nilsson, I just threw up a kick. I hadn't trained kicks for the fight, and I threw it up and it landed, and he was gone. So I possess a lot of power for a man who's as skinny and small as I am. So he can say what he wants, but until he gets hit, he doesn't know what it feels like.
Are you happy that you've been able to fight so quickly after London as well?
100%. That's why, you know, the success I had in London was phenomenal. It was a very, very quick fight for me, quick turnaround. While I'm healthy, I'm young, and I'm so concentrated on mixed martial arts, I want to get as many fights as I can. So it could be a quick turnaround after this one as well. I don't know.
You obviously lose a lot of confidence, but so does Sean. We spoke to him. He's obviously riding a 14-fight unbeaten streak. He's undefeated. So are you. Is that the new challenge that you're looking forward to most of the time, that you're going to go up against a formidable fighter who's also undefeated himself?
Yeah, I mean, being undefeated, it carries some weight. But I'm 3-0 in the UFC. You know, he beat Bubba McDaniel on the season of me, and I don't see it as the same level. You know, I think this is new to him. You know, the UFC is still new to him. This sort of stuff. You guys are. I'm used to it. I'm comfortable here now. It's a great challenge, and it's great to be, like I said, the last two opponents I fought, they'd never been finished, and I finished them both. This guy's never been beat. If I beat him, it means something. You know, so I'm looking to get a finish. I'm looking to win, and I'm looking to win impressively. And then that takes me to 4-0, and you know, I'm the next guy to watch.
You've just been warming up here, and you know, you're fighting here in another country, and you know, traveling is sometimes an issue. How are you feeling physically?
Physically amazing. You know, this isn't my first time. I've been fighting internationally for a long time. I know what to do. I have a process. I feel great. You know, I came here, I left the United States on Sunday, got here on Monday, used them as rest days, and my body feels great. I've adjusted to the time. You know, couldn't feel better. You know, I feel like a veteran doing this now, and kind of enjoy it. You know, checking out the city of Berlin. I love it. All the landmarks and the history here. So it's been an awesome trip, and you know, towards the end of the week, it'll be time to get down to business.
Well, you looked like a veteran in your last fight, where you also fought abroad, where you knocked out Sesam Tante. Just coming off such a spectacular win, where I think you were the underdog as well, if I'm not mistaken. Is that sort of coming off such a spectacular win? Does that give you extra motivation to sort of climb the ladder even further here in Berlin?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can finish someone in spectacular fashion, you know, you feel your fan base grows, people start getting behind you. So, you know, that's what you got to do. You got to finish fights. No one wants to see a decision or a guy that's eking out decisions. You know, they want people to finish fights. Me personally, I want to finish fights based on, you know, my in my fight with Tim Bosch, when it went to the judges, you never know how it's going to go. So, like I was telling the guy before, if I get finished in that process, and at least I can deal with that, knowing that the guy did beat me. But to lose because the judges decide you didn't win the fight or whatever, it kind of sucks. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to look to finish the fight, make it exciting, mix it up, and make the fans happy.
CB, how do you prepare for a fight like this? With such a different opponent to what you had last time, a guy like Francis Carmon, let's not beat around the bush. He's a pretty boring fighter for a lot of people to watch. So how do you see that yourself, and how do you prepare for a guy like that who's going to try and neutralise you effectively?
I believe it's both guys' job to put on a great performance out there. If you're going to let a guy take you down and hold you down, you're just as well as accountable as he is. He's going to do. He's going to take the win with the easiest route. And if he's able to do that to you and neutralize you, that's your problem. I'm not going to let that happen. I train with guys like Ryan Bader, Ryan Jimmo, big 205 pounders. Those are my main training partners. Ryan Bader, a couple-time All-American wrestler. So I'm used to dealing with big, strong guys. It's not going to be an issue. I know how to get up. I'm going to hold my own in the wrestling, and it's going to be an exciting fight. We're going to fight. I'm going to make him fight.
Do you think he presents any challenges to you?
Oh, of course he presents challenges. He's going to come forward. He is going to try to take me down. He is going to try to neutralize me. I just can't let that happen. I prepared for it, and now it's time to put my work to the test.
Do you see yourself having a striking advantage against him?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get out there in the octagon and start throwing down. Something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna get knocked out, and pretty sure it isn't gonna be me.
He had some really nice words for you. Actually, he said that you were underrated, and he really thought highly of your last performance. What do you think of this comment?
No, that's great. I like the guy personally. I like watching him fight. If you understand the ground game and whatnot, see what he's doing. You know how hard it is to do what he's doing, but a lot of the fans don't respect that. Obviously, me coming from a grappling background, I understand it. At the same time, though, I know what the fans want. I've changed my style over the last couple fights, as you guys have probably noticed. My Mayhem Miller fight, I was in a position where, about to lose my job. I went out, neutralized him, did what I needed to do to get my victory, keep my job, and the fan reaction to that was not a good one. I got a lot of people, a lot of backlash for that, and it made me realize, people want to see finishes. People want to see people get knocked out or submitted, so I'm going balls to the wall and looking to get that fan base and move up that ladder, get that title shot. I want to get in the title picture this year, and a victory over Francis will do that for me.
What do you think of the next opponent? If you do beat Francis, where do you think that puts you in the top 15, and who do you think you might be able to fight next?
I'm not even thinking about the next opponent. Francis is he's a tough competitor. I'm not going to look past this guy. I've done that in the past and wound up, not in the top 15, dropping back in the 20s and 30s. So yeah, you don't look past a guy like Francis Carmont. I have one focus, and that's him. And after I get the job done on Saturday night, then we'll talk.
Do you care about rankings? And do you look at the rankings quite regularly?
Obviously, I care about the rankings because that's how you get a title shot. You have to be ranked at least in the top 10. You got to be a contender. If you're not, you're never going to get a title shot. So obviously, I care about him, and obviously, I know where he's ranked, and I know what a victory over him could do for me.
We spoke to Francis earlier on, and we asked him about some of the criticism he's got from fans about being a boring fighter, and he said that that's something that he's looked on, and he's looking to change that moving forward in his career. So do you think that you might be seeing a brand new Francis Carmont in terms of how he might perform against you on Saturday night?
I don't know. We'll find out. If he's he may be forced into an exciting fight. I like to put on exciting fights. I've changed my style up. It's going to be an exciting fight. I believe I have the tools to do it. A lot of other guys in the division don't. I believe I do. I match up well. It's going to be an exciting fight. You better tune in. Someone's going to sleep.
There's also very good turnaround.
Germany's awesome. Germany's great. I was here 2 months ago, and I was asking every question in the book about the country history and about the Berlin Wall and why it was up and why it got torn down and the East and West Germany, and I was trying to learn it all. About Brandenburg Gate, Checkpoint Charlie. I was asking all those questions because that was my first time I've been to Germany ever. So I love visiting. I learned things in history books, but to actually experience it here in the country, it was a different thing. So I love Germany. I love it here.
Did you do the international circuit as an amateur?
You know what? As an amateur wrestler, yes. I did a lot of freestyle wrestling, and a good wrestler that I looked up to was Leopold. And Leopold was a good wrestler. Unfortunately, he did take some PEDs, and he was stripped of his Olympic title. But that goes without saying that his skill was unbelievable. So I didn't wrestle in Germany. I wrestled in other countries. So my first time was 2 months ago, and I loved it.
The fight you gave up Saturday in the main event, how important is this win for you coming off the loss?
Obviously, this is a very important fight for me. I got to come in with a win. Coming off of a loss, you always have to redeem yourself. And so I trained hard. I'm ready and prepared for this fight. And this is an important fight because we're right there. We're right there in the mix. Should we win this fight, we're a step closer to fighting for a title. And that's probably one more after this fight. So this is a very important fight.
Have you made any changes in your preparation?
Oh yes, I made some changes. So I made changes in my stand-up coach. I have a sports psychologist that I'm working with now, who's worked with a plethora. That's a good word. A plethora of athletes, professional and amateur, and I brought in different guys for my camp. And there's at the Rain Training Center, I don't really have to bring in that many people. I got the likes of Chael Sonnen coming in, Michael Bisping, Uriah Hall, Brendan Schaub, Jake Ellenberger, Tom Watson. I have Bellator fighters there, Brett Cooper. I'm forgetting somebody, and I know it, and I'm sorry, guys, if I did. But Tony Ferguson. So there's a lot of guys that are training there. So I don't really need to bring that too many people, but I just need to cement my game plan and strategize that way and make sure that it's instinct. It's I don't have to think about it, because when you think, you don't execute in the cage, and my game plan. Are you going to tell Gegard? Don't please. Obviously, I'm a wrestler. I want to take him down. I don't want to pound him out.
Because you did say in a couple of comments that you thought he lacked wrestling.
Yeah, he's shown that he's got some shortcomings in wrestling. He's shown that, and I bet he's been working on it because he's fighting a wrestler, obviously. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see it. He's gonna be tested, and that's why we compete. That's why we fight, is so that we can see the preparation that each one of us put in, and we'll see how it goes.
Mark, on Saturday, you're obviously friend and training partner.
I said no, sorry.
Brad Pickett and Ramsey Nijum. Little show of welcome to I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to, just because I can, I hold the mic, I'm going to ask a couple of questions to these guys. I'm a fan as well, so we'll get things rolling with that. After that, chip in, have some fun, learn some stuff, and hopefully you guys can get some good stuff recorded. So, let's start with Brad. I haven't seen Brad this weekend. How you doing, Brad? There's a microphone just there. You might have to... Is that working? Yeah, it's working now. Right, my friend, good to see you. Good to see you too. Congratulations on your flyweight debut. It was a very entertaining fight. I remember speaking with you the following day where you kind of consciously told me that you were taking risks as the fight got deeper. You could have been more controlling, but you decided to, take a few more risks. Can you describe to us who perhaps are never going to get to this level, and how those thought processes come about when you could go the easier route, but then you decide, hell no, I'm going to stick my chin out there and start swinging for the fences a little bit?
Obviously, you take a lot of risks in fighting anyway, but it's kind of like you do calculating risks. And with me, I felt comfortable. I felt his power. I didn't feel like I could get knocked out. But yes, I felt comfortable, and I'm one of those fighters that do understand that. I know it's a sport, but it's an entertainment sport as well. And if you're not entertaining, you need to entertain the crowd. So I wanted to make the fights more exciting, and also you've got to be going for these bonuses. So I want to get a bonus, so I thought, okay, just fight down on a mouthpiece and start slugging away.
It was a great debut at flyweight, and you've come down. I mean, I remember watching you at featherweight in London. You've come all the way down now. We spoke before, and you said you've never did a test cut. You don't believe in doing test cuts. If you're not getting paid to cut weight, you're not going to do it. But then in recent interviews, you've said that you might do things a little differently now because perhaps you might be able to make the process a bit smoother. If you can talk to us about that.
Yeah, last time, because I've never made the weight before, I was obviously a bit worried, so I cut a lot, I mean, way too far out of my eyes. I got to, this sort of far out last time, I was like 6% body fat, and I was just super lean all the way through my camp, and sometimes you need that little bit of cushion to help you train, a bit of absorption or the punishment and stuff. And you're less likely to get injuries and bruises and stuff like you have a little bit of fat on you. So this time I've decided not to diet as far out. I've got to get myself down, but I'm not going to do it because I was just too lean for way too long. I got down to a weight and I couldn't really lose any more than that. It was any food and train. So this time, now I know I can make a weight class. I hope they don't mess it up this time either, but I'm not dying as far out as I did last time.
Was it quite a stressful process for you coming into London then, with that on your mind?
No, well, it wasn't stressful. It's like, it's just I was miserable, Food, it kind of makes the world go around. And like, life's for living. I was just, if people knows me when I'm training and when I'm around, I'm always laughing around, pantsing people, pushing people over, making jokes. And lately I was just walking around the gym like, and I was like really kind of got my normal self. So this time I'm going to try and balance it out. Obviously it wouldn't be as hard, I don't think, this time. But, yeah, hopefully my moves a lot better.
So let's talk about this fight card. I've seen some pictures of you training with Vaughan Lee. There's you guys go down to the south coast. Phil Harris on the south coast of England. Some of you smaller guys, more vertically challenged individuals.
Nice.
Yeah, looks like you've got some good sparring going. Vaughan Lee, what do you reckon? How do you see Vaughan's chances? He's got a really tough fight this weekend.
I mean, like UFC, obviously you can't pick who you fight in the UFC, but they haven't done him many favours in his whole career. He's had tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. TJ Dillashaw, Rafael Sassoon, Dan Fan. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on. And Yuri this weekend is no joke. So, Kid Yamamoto, he's gone to Japan and fought a kid in his own home. And sometimes it makes, with these tough fights, it brings the best out of you. And I think Vaughan's one of those fighters that, definitely can do it. And I think on paper he'll go in as the underdog, but he has a self-belief that he can go on and win this fight, and his corner does. And I believe he can.
Good stuff. And has he been helping you with your preliminary training ahead of Dublin?
Yeah, it's just nice to go down there. I train at gym at one sometimes down in Portsmouth just because there's like a little hobby camp going on down there. There's a lot of small guys and not bad level, so it's good to go down and train with them. I get on with Vaughan a lot, we lark around a lot. We've got back a long time.
So on to more serious business then. Ian McCall, over the years that I've followed your career, you've never really been agitated by much. I can see you already, you're starting to get your face itchy just talking about him. He riled you. What was it that kind of flipped the switch with him, and how happy are you that you now get an opportunity to kind of settle some stuff inside the octagon?
Well, yeah, again, this fight still is yet to happen. But the first time it's like, I've been fighting for a long time, and everyone I've fought over the years has always just been an opponent to me. It's never been personal. Well, I'm an athlete, and I have a lot of respect for people who are fighting, to what level they do it, the grassroots level to professional. You know, it takes a lot to do what we do. So I respect everybody, and so I never really badmouth anybody. You know, it doesn't change the way I fight someone. And he starts talking a lot of trash on the underground and all that sort of stuff, and I get to see it. And he didn't bother me because the other day I was going to fight him, and that was my redemption. You know, you say what you want, and I'm going to fight you. And then he got injured and pulled out the fight, which again I wasn't mad about that because that can happen to anybody. You know, that's the sport. But then he continued to talk trash, and I'm just like, why are you still talking? You pulled out the fight, and now you still want to talk. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And so I sent him a tweet saying, fight me, talk all you want, otherwise shut up. So yeah, shut the hell up. You know, and you know that rolled him up a little bit. And then I was like, I was just like, whatever. McCall for me is one of these people who's he likes the fight, the attention the fighting brings. In my eyes, he's not a fighter. With me, I fight in front of 90,000 people, in front of 2 people, and I fight the same. I fight, and I'm proud. And stuff. Like, he's all about the fame, the glitz, the glam, and that sort of stuff, you know. And yet again, I'm looking forward to fighting if it happens, you know. So it's still a long way away, and you know, until I've that gate's door shut and it's me versus McCall, you know, I'm not that excited.
I hope it does happen. Not just for this week, but I think it's a really good matchup as well. And he brings a lot to the table, so it's good to see you guys have a little tangle in there. We've got a very European audience here, UFC Dublin, there's already so much talk about that. How big and significant do you think these events are that we're putting on at the moment for creating, you know, a real buzz around mixed martial arts in this European scene?
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it? Like, it's been the fastest growing sport over the years, and in America is there. It's on mainstream TV or on news and stuff like that. You know, and in England it's a little bit behind. Like when you turn on Sky Sports News, you'd never really see anything UFC come up. But in America you do, and you turn on ESPN, you have the coverage of that. So we're still a little bit behind the Americans, but we're doing the best we can to catch up. And the more shows we put on, the bigger audiences get to see and fall in love with the sport. It's only going to get better and growing. And the UFC is the best organisation in the world, and they do it the best.
Great stuff. Thanks, Brad. I'm going to leave some questions for everyone else. I'm just going to go through so they'll get an opportunity. And next, I'd like to have a little chat with your gaming buddy right next to you.
I beat him. Yeah, just let everyone know that.
Good afternoon, Alex. Welcome to Berlin.
Thank you.
So, aside from gaming, chilling with our Brad Pickett right here, you've had some time off. I'm going to get to the obvious subjects, but I kind of feel like I'm always asking you about the obvious subjects, so I'd like to talk about some other stuff. What have you been getting up to? You've had some time off. Tell us, what does Alexander Gustafsson do in his downtime?
Well, when I'm not training, you know, I'm just with family and friends most of the time. I've been traveling a little bit around with the UFC and done some promotion things around the world actually. So having a great time.
I understand you're starting to. Your manager was saying there's potentially you're going to start breeding dogs. Is that on the cards? Is that something you're looking at after your fight career?
Well, no, it's just something I do as a hobby. I don't think I can do it like full time like that, but it's just one of those things I like to do. You know, just talking about breeding dogs. I just love dogs.
Yeah, good stuff. And we spoke a little while ago about training camps that you used to put on around, I think it's your mum's place out in the country in Sweden. Is that still something that you get involved with? Are you doing that this year?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. I have no plans for it. You never know. So.
Okay. And recently, you finally got, hopefully, the contract that you were after. In terms of your personal deal with the UFC, how pleased you got that all signed up, and obviously what are the next steps from here?
Well, I'm just super excited. I agree, just waiting for the other part to agree. I'm really excited. I don't have a time or a venue yet, I'm still waiting. But, you know, however it goes down, I know in my mind I'm the first in line, and I'm just super excited.
When you embarked on your mixed martial arts career, did you ever envisage that one man would feature so heavily in your mindset and vice versa? Did you ever think that that might be something that you would have to deal with? Because this situation with John Jones is something that you created by putting in a fine performance, but this is a story that keeps rolling.
Yeah, you know, it's I didn't believe I would get this far when I started MMA. It came as I did it. But yeah, it's just I think this is just a story that will continue going for a while. So,
well, it's a good story. It's got a silver bullet.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, this weekend, were your eyes on the television? What did you think of Daniel Cormier's performance?
Well, I think he did great. You know, he's a very tough competitor. He's a great athlete. So I think he's you know, I didn't see it go down any other way. But I know that he's one of the top guys for sure in light heavyweight division right now.
How do you feel, however, when guys like DC, they're obviously, you know, well within their rights to do so, but they're campaigning hard for that title shot? When you're hearing that, are you sitting on edge thinking, are they going to be heard before me, or things like that?
Well, yeah, a little bit maybe, but you know, at the same time, I know that I'm first in line. You know, I just know that, and I will fight Jones, and you know, I'll probably fight DC one day too. And, you know, you have like a few guys in the top level in light heavyweight, and we all want to fight each other one day. So, but I'm just excited. I just want that belt. I want what Jones have. That's what I want.
Excellent stuff. Well, it must have been settling to hear the words of Dana White in his post-fight scrum saying that, you know, DC looked good, but you deserve that shot. So that's got to be a good thing. Thanks, Alex. I'll open up to the floor in just a second. Luke, I know your food's still going down, so let's have a quick chat with Ramsey. Congratulations on that fight in Abu Dhabi. You were listed as the underdog, believe it or not, for that fight.
I didn't believe it either.
Did that add some fuel to your fire?
Honestly, I didn't know I was the underdog until like the day of the fight or the day before, when someone asked me in an interview about being the underdog. I was just as surprised as everybody else should have been. No, but you know, I was surprised, and I didn't really. I mean, I kind of took it a little bit disrespectfully. Just, I mean, you have one fight in the UFC. You know, with the Ultimate Fighter, I've had like over 10 now, and I've proven myself in the organization and in the lightweight, and so I don't know. I don't really know what the rankings come from or the odds. Half the time, you know, it's whoever's more popular or whoever has more hype around them. But you know, I went out and I, you know, really did add some fuel to the fire. And really wanted to make a statement in the lightweight division.
There were so many things going on for you personally around that card. What are the kind of positives that you've walked away from that contest?
Just really, you know, I really fell in love with fighting overseas. I didn't really plan on hopefully fighting over here, you know, most of the time. I enjoyed, you know, I jumped on the opportunity to come to Berlin to promote myself and the UFC in Europe and Middle East, anywhere that they go on this side of the world. I really enjoy it, and I really feel a lot more at home as far as a fighter out here. It was really cool to have a first time experience to be like a 100% hometown hero. That, you know, usually even when I was living in Utah, fighting in Utah, or California, fighting in California, there's always, you know, you have about. I fought in Seattle where I grew up, and I had like 30 or 40 friends there, and they were really loud, and it was pretty cool, but never a whole stadium, so that was really a unique experience that I definitely would love to enjoy that again one time.
Absolutely, and you made some changes, obviously moved to San Francisco now with your training camp. Give us an insight into why that's worked out for you both personally and professionally with the fight career.
Personally, I was born, you know, in California. That's where my family lives, my grandmother. My mom's always down there, and my brothers and stuff. So personally, I'm a lot more closer to my family. A lot more, like, culturally, there's a lot of Palestinians in San Francisco, and you know, a lot more of my family. A lot more, like, I mean, I'm a lot in Utah. I was kind of an odd character out there, I would say. Stuck out like a sore thumb. But for training and fighting, I'm surrounding myself with the best. Gilbert Melendez is #1 contender in the world, and that's one of my main training partners. Jake Shields has proven himself as a top guy. There's always a lot of different competition coming through. Sometimes this guy comes up through San Francisco, so there's just a lot of different people and a lot of different looks, which really they help me fight because you get the new guy all the time, the new experience with a new fighter, just like a fight. You never know. Sometimes the old training partners get a little stagnant, and you're kind of used to each other. So it's really fun to just kind of mix it up and bring new people in.
Linked in with the training, and I've listened to a couple of interviews recently where you said that what figured for you is you're working in a much more calm capacity at the moment. However, just to sort of challenge that, when I saw you in Abu Dhabi, you looked like you were a little offended by some of the stuff that was going on. You just referenced the odds, and you also went out and said that you treated it as your world title. Where do you go from there when you've considered something to be your world title for self-motivation? And were you talking about being more calm in your preparation rather than going into battle, if you like?
I mean, every fight. I mean, you can ask these guys. It's going to be their most important fight. Your next world champion fight for yourself. You're only as good as your last fight, and so the next one I get, hopefully it's on this side of the world, and that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to treat it like another big championship fight. I believe I'm the best 55er in the world, and I got to prove it and back up what I believe. And I'm sure everybody up here believes that they're the best in their weight class, and it's no disrespect to anybody in my weight class, but until I'm the champion, until I prove that to the world, I'm not satisfied, and I'm going to just keep going after every fight like it's the last one I'm going to have.
As far as I know, no contest has been scheduled for you yet, so very much open season.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to be inflammatory. Are there any guys out there that you think you match up well with? I think I've seen on the message boards a few guys have said Cruikshank would be a good fight for you. They think that would make an exciting contest. Is something like that of interest right now?
I don't have anyone specifically on my radar, but I'm definitely hoping for somebody that has been in the organization. I keep fighting guys that have a few fights here or there, and it's almost been almost a lose-lose situation. I go out, I beat a guy who's had 1 or 2 fights in UFC. Everybody's like, oh, well, you have more experience, you should beat him. I go out, if I lose to those guys, then it's like, oh, well, yeah, he's not really ready for the top-tier guys. I mean, I believe I am. I want them, challenge me. I'm asking Joe, come on, throw it at me. I'm ready to take the challenge. I'm ready to fight. I want to be, out here on the main card, on a big fight, and really put myself, at the top tier. 26 now, and I really believe that the next year and a half I'm going to be a contender, and in the next year or so, be winning some big fights. So just accept any challenge. Let's do it. Put me a big name, big card. On this side of the world, Joe. That's what I'm asking.
Joe Silva, we hope he's watching. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ramsey. Thanks very much. So on to our 4th and final guest, Luke Rockhold. So we were just talking a moment ago, and it seems you've been clocking up a few air miles. Can you let us know where you've been on your travels and what the UFC have been putting in front of you? Because you've become a real ambassador for the sport on like a worldwide scale.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm always trying to expand, and do whatever I can for the UFC and myself. The more I get my face out there, the better, I guess. So UFC's been asking me to do certain things for them, so I'm all about it. I went out to Colombia a couple months ago before the fight, and that was a cool experience. I got to promote the UFC event with Tom, and so I went out there to a big convention in Cartagena, and then we went to Bogota. So it was a beautiful place and a cool experience. Recently, I've been out in Vegas coaching the Ultimate Fighter, Latin America, with Cain Velasquez. I'm the token white guy of the show.
Just coaching the Ultimate Fighter, yeah.
Just coaching, Cain's the head coach, so I'm one of the assistants. And we're going to kind of rotate between the guys. We all got busy schedules, so I did the first 2 weeks, and then I think DC's going to come in this week, and maybe Josh Thompson. So we're going to rotate as a team. Now I'm here. So this is a cool experience. I've never been out here to Europe, and I jumped on the opportunity when it happened. So it's good to be here, and I'm looking forward to enjoying this place and the fights. So next, Vancouver, and then I actually go to Brazil and back to the Spanish boat. So I'm not going to be home much the next couple of months.
Yeah, that's a busy couple of months.
Should be fun. And I actually picked off just a little bit of time to go visit Amsterdam and Ibiza on the way back. That's at least my own.
Party times. Yeah, we see that you like a pool party. I've seen on a few posters with some of the Octagon girls, so not spreading any rumours, but you're the man in town. If we need to get some concierge, you're the man with the hookup.
It's not really up to me, you know. I mean, they put these things, they put me up to these stuff, so it's just okay.
Tough gig, right? Really tough gig.
I'm getting nervous.
So, I can't say that, can I? Apparently you're here for a specific reason, not just with the UFC, you're going to be a cover model for a fitness magazine.
Hence the salad. I usually like to enjoy myself after a fight. They hit me with this, I was like, they're like, yeah, while you're in Berlin, you're going to cover men's fitness. I'm like, what'd you say? So, but double timed it, got back in the gym, and thank God I was coaching the show, so I could do some sit-ups and get back. So I should be okay.
Good stuff. No, it sounds enjoyable. Good stuff. So back to the fighty stuff, if you like. Now, how bummed were you that you didn't get sub of the night? I can't believe that 2 submissions like that happened. Your one came first, and then is it the Joa Constrictor? Is that what they labelled it as? Maybe you need to start getting on that microphone and putting some names out there to these submissions, because for me, I've got to say, I think that what you did was some of the night for me. I'm just saying, wouldn't
I appreciate it. I got a lot of good feedback on social media about it, and usually, I mean, obviously, I'm not one to, I don't want to say bitch, but when there's $50,000 on the line, it kind of hurts a little bit, I guess, but you know.
Maybe a couple of pool parties and just stop on that.
They treat me well, so I can't complain. You know, they hook me up, so it's all good.
Now, what's the feeling like though when you land something as dynamic as that with the sets up against high-level competition? I mean, give us an idea of that feeling of elation.
It's something I do all the time, but to execute it that quick and to secure a fight, you know, in the first round, there's no feeling like it, and you know, it's just instinct. He came in for that single leg, and I butt dragged him, and once I was there, it's just this little trick I do to a lot of wrestlers that try to take me down. I mean, I got a lot of them in my gym trying to take me down, so I've figured this stuff out, and just slip the leg under, go to the reverse triangle, and then you know, find the Kimura eventually. So it's a good feeling. I think that he saw me afterwards. I was pretty elated.
Yeah, no, it's good work. Now, have a look through your record, and all of your fights have either been concluded in round 1 or have gone 5 rounds, which I've never seen before, and I've looked at a couple of records. How's your mind at when you're in a contest and after you've had so many first round finishes, when you hit round number 2, you're now thinking, I'm in for a long night now. And why is it working out that
Not the thought process. Definitely not. No, I've had 2 5-round wars with some tough guys out there that have proven themselves, obviously, to be the best in the world. We didn't get a lot of credit, you know, for what we were doing in Strikeforce, and you see what we're doing now. Me, Jacare, and Tim Kennedy all boom, 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 right there at the, you know, that's 6, you know, 4, 5, and 6, or whatever they put us at. But you know, the rankings are the rankings. They don't mean that much, you know. And I mean, within the top 10, anybody's anybody. So it's. You know, I don't know. I like to finish fast. I don't like these 5-round wars. I remember my first one with Jacare. I trained so hard. I prepared with so many different guys. I was switching guys in and out every round because, you know, they were a little worried about me going the distance because I've never been, especially with a guy like Jacare. You know, thank God I worked so hard with such a good team. I was going in that 4th round and I was just like, what the hell is going on right now? I mean, what am I doing? I didn't even know where I was. But it's yeah, I want to stick to those first round goes as much as I possibly can. That's what I just trained to finish and execute, you know, my game plan, and I believe I can do that. You know, most guys as soon as they can. I mean, I'm just going to go on and do it.
Yeah, sure thing. Last question for me before I open up to the floor. Daniel Cormier and Dan Henderson. I saw some photos of you with Dan Henderson. Obviously, Daniel Cormier is a training partner of yours. So, how does that dynamic work for you when a fight like that happens? It must be a pretty tough watch.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about it when I first came to the table. DC hit me up. You know, first guy, he's like, "I want to fight Dan." I'm like, "Don't do it," come on, let's avoid it. You can do something else.
Did you mean that from like a selfish point of view? You don't want to buddies?
I mean, they're both. DC's like my brother, and Dan is a great friend. I've been down there for 3 training camps now, and lived with him, like just me and him, playing video games all night, and training all day. And so, I've gotten to know Dan real well, and I never want to see my friends fight, especially when there's so much on the line. So it's not like what I'm looking for. I mean, Cormier has always looked up to Dan too as a wrestler, an ambassador for the sport. As a wrestler, and me and Cormier were sitting front row, side by side, watching him go through the one-of-a-lifetime fight versus a Shogun Hua in San Jose, and we're both clinching each other, jumping up and down, freaking out, up and down, all night. So we were. I mean, yeah, it's just he didn't want to do it, but you got to do what you got to do, and business is business, and they're all cool now, so it's in the past.
Sure thing. Well, thanks guys. That's enough from me. Let's open it up to the floor. Right in the corner. Go for it. If these guys can hear you, then.
Luke, it feels like that the gloves are officially off between you and Vitor Belfort. I'm just going to quote you from what you said in an interview this week. I think he's been dirty his whole career. I'm going to go out there and say, I'm going to be myself. I'm tired of holding back. I'm going to be real. The real MMA fans know what's going on. Where did this come from this week?
I don't know. Just came in a long week in Vegas. Just spur of the moment, let it go, let it be. It is what it is. I can't take it back, and I won't take it back. There's no need to. I mean, it's how I feel, and it's how most people understand the situation. Vitor Belfort can hide in Brazil as long as he wants. If he wants to be a man, come fight me in Las Vegas. I'll be with him.
Have things become real personal between you and Vitor, do you think?
They really are. He throws little jabs and people, bring back at me, but he never tags me, never comes from and says my name, so whatever. If he ever mans up and wants to fight the States and on a fair playing field, I'm ready to get him. I mean, I'm sick of it. Just everything he does is a red flag. It's an unfortunate situation for the sport.
Would you ever consider a rematch in Brazil at all?
I think it'd be stupid for me to do it, and most people don't want me to. If there was an outside organization blood testing them, I'd definitely consider it. I mean, I'd like it on a fair playing field.
And just a final thing on Vitor. Can you just comment on what Dana said in an interview last week, where he said that it didn't matter where his testosterone levels were outside of competition?
No comment.
Next question, guys.
I do have a question, Razor. You want the fight. Do you get the sense that that's the fight that the UFC wants to do?
It's a fight we definitely talked about, and it's on the table. So I mean, if he wants to come to America and fight here, let's do it.
He said that he does, though. He's actually said that he's done some testing. The validity of testing is kind of questionable, whether he's just testing himself. But he's actually said he wants to go get cleared in Nevada. Dana has actually said that he's got to get cleared in Nevada before he continues his career. So, are you confident that's going to happen in the States?
I mean, Dana says it. I hope it's true. I'll be waiting. I mean, I want the fight. Everyone knows I want the fight. So.
Are you cleared to fight? Is your toe?
Toe is not quite healed, but I should be good by like September-ish. I got a follow-up X-ray last week, and calcium deposits are starting to form. It's tough. It's a little toe, and you can't really do much for it, but tape it to your big toe or whatever, and little things like that. You always send a team to hit them on little things and set you back a little bit, walk a little too fast, dance a little too much, little things,
Did that come out of the blue? It seems like such a random injury.
What's that?
Just to break your toe, just to bit a guy and,
Yeah, it was kind of awkward. I had him in the triangle, and he was pushing me up against the cage to defend, and I could feel my toes go into the cage, and he was adjusting to try to defend me, and as he turned, my toes were in the cage, and I could feel it break. That's probably not good. I should step it up a little bit. Let's finish this.
Anyone got here we go.
One question for Brad. You're a little bit nervous about having to maybe back into the Lions then. I know a lot of Irish fans may not have been happy with the Neil Series decision, so walking in there against maybe not only in the call, but 11, 12,000 Irish fans as well who were maybe a little bit disappointed with the result.
I don't know. I think the Irish fans didn't have a problem with me.
I don't know if they had a problem with you or so.
Yeah, I know that. I think that I got a little bit of stick from the Irish fans because they thought I'd been disrespectful to Neil Series because I was disappointed in my performance. But if anyone's allowed to be disappointed with their own performance, surely I am. You know, it was no jibe at the way Neil Series thought. I thought he fought very well, but how I was disappointed with my performance because, as other fighters could explain, I compare it to how I was training. I was training really well and felt sharp and felt really good, and it just didn't transfer into my fight. I thought like shit in my eyes. You know, I didn't fight as good as I could. So I was disappointed with my own performance. It doesn't take nothing away from Neil Series. You know, I didn't mean it disrespectful to him. You know, all the Irish fans went for that. You know, so I don't know if the Irish fans are going to come after me or anything, but there's no disrespect to Ireland or the Irish fans or anything like that. So I was actually hoping that they would adopt me as an Irishman, you know, for that to fight American. But if not, if they like Uncle Creep's little moustache, you know, whatever, I don't mind. I've never been the bad guy, so like, well, maybe, you know, it'd be weird if I was. That answer your question?
Yeah. Randy, well, you said about wanting to fight over the EMEA sort of style cards, but you also said you wanted to fight guys higher up the division. Maybe you're kind of cutting yourself off. You want that bigger fights, they might be happening in the States. You mentioned a lightweight Norman Park, maybe UK or Ireland in the future. That's something that's interesting.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, how many fights does Norman Park have in the UFC? 1, 2, and so 3. I want to fight a more established fighter, and I feel like the bigger fights probably will be happening in the States. Someone along that, I'd be okay with that. Like a Ross Pearson or something like that. Yeah, so I mean that would be perfect for me, or something along those lines. I just, like I said, a bigger fight doesn't necessarily have to happen in the U.S. because they still bring over big stars in the European, fights, because you got Gustafsson fought here, and other guys like that. So it definitely can happen, and I'm obviously not going to fight a top 10 guy or a top 5 guy right now. I would love to, but I probably won't get that fight. But someone that's been well established in the UFC that I can definitely prove that I'm in the next tier in the lightweight. Work my way up the rankings, which according to Luger, kind of crappy. But he still needs to.
Just find you a big way. A lot of people are saying, you're calling out Vitor, you won Vitor. But before all of this, you called something else out. You called Keenan Cornelius out. Is that dead in the water? As a grappling fan, that's something that I know it's outside the parameters of the UFC, but is that something that interests you down the line, or was there discussions about making that happen?
Yeah, I respect what Keenan's done, and I think it's just to be a cool stylistic matchup. Keenan's one of the top American Jiu-Jitsu guys out there, and I believe I can compete with him. And I've been in talks with Ben Morris, and something should happen. The time frame, they have a show in August, and so that would it's probably going to conflict with my next fight. So I think we might. There's a good chance for November, and they like the matchup. I like the matchup, and I think we can do it. I think it's something I'd like to do to get back to jiu-jitsu competition, or what launched me into MMA really, and to do it in a metaphors with the finishing, with all the rules. I like the rule setup rather than just standard jiu-jitsu world championship style, especially in the gi. My style translates a little better, outside that in the no-gi world. So I think that'd be. I wouldn't go in the gi with Keenan. Trust me, I'm not stupid. I have understand his grips and all that. I've lost a lot of that, but I can compete with him, and I look forward to it.
Just a question for Alex. Alex, there's rumours that you signed a Bailey to fight John Jones in part of that deal. Is that, can you confirm or deny that?
Well, I agreed to fight him. I'm just waiting for his part. I don't know when, I don't have any venue. I'm just, waiting.
There's talk, obviously, of it's been mentioned that possibly the stadium show in Sweden. Dana said after the post-fight press conference in London, something that he's looking to do is a title fight again in Europe in the next sort of year.
Well, that will be a dream come true to fight in my backyard. That will be a dream come true for sure.
Would that add some heat? Would that make it more difficult for you to perform, do you think, in front? Because when they say this stadium, they're talking like 50,000 fans. It's something incredible like that.
Yeah, it's the biggest arena we have in Stockholm, in Sweden, actually. And yeah, that will really motivate me a lot. Just getting that belt, that's my motivation every day in practice. That's the only thing that motivates me is the belt, nothing else. And for me fighting back home, that will be a dream come true.
We're all crossing our fingers that this is part of the road.
I've got a question regarding the TJ Dillashaw fight for both Brad and Ramsey. First of all, Brad, can you just comment on the fight that went down on Saturday night? Do you think it's the biggest upset in UFC history, and what were your thoughts on the fight itself?
I think the people out of the know, it was the biggest upset. But people who train with him, and I've heard people train with him, and I speak to Dwayne, and you hear about how well he's doing with his striking. We all ever knew TJ back in the house days when he was a wrestler and good at grappling. But he's striking a couple of leaps and bounds. I heard that from Dwayne, and I must admit, I was really surprised at how well he performed. I've never seen that if it was the first round and he dropped Hannibal out and he won then, you could have said, oh, maybe, he just got a good shot in on that night and, it wasn't a true reflection. But when you see him out points and out skilled the champion like that, consistently through every round, and then still have the mental edge to want to put him away in the fifth round when he could have played it safe, was just a testament to his ability. In my eyes, it was the biggest upset in the biggest arena, or the biggest fight in UFC history in my eyes.
And for Ramsey, can you take some inspiration from TJ Dillashaw becoming a champion? And the reason I ask this is, like yourself, he was on the Ultimate Fighter show, didn't win it, but he's got all the way and become a champion. So can you take some inspiration from that yourself?
Yeah, I take a lot from that. It was very motivating to watch. I've known TJ a long time, and I thought he was going to win from the get-go. And watching him go out and perform as good as he did, and it was amazing. I was pumped up. I was screaming at the TV, standing up, and it really, it fired me up. I was like wanting to go on a run that night. It was like late midnight, and I was like, I'm going to go running or something. But it's really, it's motivation. There's been a lot of Ultimate Fighter runners up to win and got belts, and like TJ, like myself, I was in the house, and I've been training like 6 months when I was in the Ultimate Fighter house, and all I really knew how to do is take someone down and punch them in the face, and eventually they give me their back, and anyone can do a rear naked choke. So that was my go-to, and I've definitely been working really hard on my striking, and I felt like I've made improvements. So hopefully I can make the same upsets as TJ did, and make same kind of performances.
A quick follow-up for Brad. Does any part of you, given the result of this past Saturday's fight, any part of you, specifically the part that likes to live alive, think there's another opportunity for me?
What I've always said is lives for living. So I only went down to flyweight with the option to try and be #1 in the world. I don't want to lose an extra 10 pounds when I was fighting at bantamweight. When I was at bantamweight, I had probably 3 title eliminator fights, lost every single one. So, and at the time, I think I was ranked number 5 bantamweight, and there was everyone above me, apart from Uriah, I had been beat by, so he left me nowhere to go. So I could have stayed in that division and just put on fights, and it'd be my job. But as an athlete, that didn't motivate me. I wanted to look back at my career and think I did everything I possibly could in my career to try and be number 1 in the world. And if I don't succeed, it wasn't for the one of trying, you know. So I'm going down to flyweight to try and achieve that goal. And if I, you know, got beat by Neil Seary on that night, I would have just gone, oh, so this. I'll go back up the bantamweight because my title shot at that weight class would have gone. So I'm like, well, just life's for living. So yeah, I think I can fight 2 weight classes. You know, you see a lot of fighters that do that. That's only if it was my job. You know, at the moment I still want to be number 1 in the world, and my sights on DJ, yeah, that's my sight at the moment. And like, if I don't succeed doing that, yeah, I'll go back to the bantamweight and put on some fights anyway.
What do you think about DJ and Ali? How do you see that fight?
Honestly, I think DJ has it. I think Ali poses a lot of different threats than other fighters do in that division. But I think DJ solidly has got this one in a 5-round fight as well. You know, I think he's a solid champion, and yeah, I can't see him slipping up to Ali.
Rod, just one follow-up question. I spoke to yourself on Ian Cole a couple of weeks back, and you know, Ian was talking a lot of trash at that stage, and you were responding back at the time, and it sort of died down a little bit. Do you think this fight? You mentioned to me that you're not too sure this fight's going to happen. Do you think now possibly Ian's, you know, trying to change his approach to this fight?
Well, he hasn't spoken as much trash. Well, I think he's kind of like turned it to be a bit more like banterish, you know, which I don't mind. You know, it doesn't bother me if he wants to do it that way, whatever, you know. But you know, I didn't say he pulled out of the fight because he was scared of me. And like I said, I'm not getting too excited about this fight because he may not have it long. So I think he's scared of me. He may pull out again. But you know, he's a medical rep at times, and he could get injured, and I could get injured. You know, so I say this all the time. It's hard to get excited about a fight when you're 8-10 weeks out because you have a whole training camp, and training, as what we do, is tough, and you train hard. You suffer a lot of time, you know, from injuries. So. I think every training camp I've had in my career, I've walked away with an injury, and I go into another training camp with that injury, maybe not as bad, but you know, your body gets broken down quite a lot, especially at my age, you know. But you know, it takes me a lot to pull out of a fight, you know, and you know, so I'll 100% be there unless I physically can't even walk into the cage, you know. So my end is on, and like I say, if Ian McCall hopefully trains the bubble ramp and don't get hurt, me and him will actually get out.
I've got a question for Luke. Aside from Vitor and a potential rematch against Jacare 2, can you just break down the main event this Saturday night, as the winner could potentially also be a future opponent for yourself?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. The matchup is a good one. I think it's a perfect matchup. It's someone like Munoz, who's he can get bullied around a little bit. I mean, Munoz's thing is, if you give him the confidence, he'll run with it, and he'll put the power on you and put you on your back, and we all know what he can do on top of a guy with a ground and pound. Mousasi, he's kind of good everywhere, but his one weakness has been his takedown defense. He's been complacent on his back, and he can't be there. He can't be that guy in this fight. If he's taken down, he's got to get right up right away, or he's got to defend the takedown, and he's got to bully Munoz around. That's the way I see it. Mousasi's got the advantage of the striking, and Jiu-Jitsu is going to nullify. I don't know. It's a tough matchup. It's where are their heads at? You know, at the time, and it's hard to take a lot. Mousasi hasn't fought at middleweight in a long time. You know, since his last fight, obviously with Machida, but before that it was in Japan. So it's hard to see how he's going to look and what he's going to do, and then don't know. It's going to be a good matchup. I got it pretty split. Probably favor Musasi a little bit, but yeah, I mean, ground advantage to Munoz and striking advantage to Musasi. And is he going to get up? Is Munoz going to get the takedown? That's what it comes down to. But if one of them, if that's who I fight, the winner of this, let's do it. So I'm open to whatever the UFC wants. I don't really pick fights. There's a couple fights I want, but I'll take whatever fight they give me. But I really like to move forward and get closer to that title fight and get that shot. So that's what I want.
Last question, guys.
Just follow up, Alex. I'm sure you've played the EA game by now. Have you played it yourself, and have you played against John Jones in the video game?
No, I haven't. I actually played it once, and it was today with Brother, and Brad was me in the game, and I was John Jones, and we got my escape, so that's how I went down.
Why did you pick John Jones?
No, I know like that Brad is a better gamer than me, so I didn't want to take any risk. I didn't want to take any risk.
I wonder why John Jones was throwing any punches back in the game.
But I tried.
Good stuff. I think we're all done here, guys. Thanks ever so much. Thanks to all of these fighters here.